President Obama was on 60 Minutes over the weekend, and they asked him about Dick Cheney. Now, he had some tough words for Dick Cheney, but Dick Cheney had come out and had tough words for him, and he's basically responding. And some articles I read were saying, oh, surprised that Obama would go after Cheney like this. Well, what's the guy supposed to do? Cheney called him out on this. So I thought this was the least he could say. So here's President Obama on 60 Minutes.
One question about Dick Cheney and Guantanamo. I'm sure you want to answer this.
Oh, absolutely.
A week ago, Vice President Cheney said essentially that your willingness to shut down Guantanamo and to change the way prisoners are treated and interrogated was making America weaker and more vulnerable to another attack. And that the interrogation techniques that were used at Guantanamo were essential in preventing another attack against the United States.
I fundamentally disagree with Dick Cheney, not surprisingly. I think that Vice President Cheney has been at the head of a movement whose notion is somehow that we can't reconcile our core values, our Constitution, our belief that we don't torture, with our national security interests. I think he's drawing the wrong lesson from history. The facts don't bear him out. I think he is, that attitude, that philosophy, has done incredible damage to our image and position in the world. I mean, the fact of the matter is, after all these years, how many convictions actually came out of Guantanamo? How many terrorists have actually been brought to justice under the philosophy that is being promoted by Vice President Cheney? It hasn't made us safer. What it has been is a great advertisement for anti-American sentiment, which means that there is constant effective recruitment of Arab fighters and Muslim fighters against U.S. interests all around the world.
Some of it being organized by a few people who were released from Guantanamo.
Well, there's no doubt that we have not done a particularly effective job in sorting through who are truly dangerous individuals that we've got to make sure are not a threat to us, who are folks that we just swept up. The whole premise of Guantanamo, promoted by Vice President Cheney, was that somehow the American system of justice was not up to the task of dealing with these terrorists. I fundamentally disagree with that. But this is the legacy that's been left behind. And I'm surprised that the Vice President is eager to defend a legacy that was unsustainable. Let's assume that we didn't change these practices. How long are we going to go? Are we going to just keep on going until the entire Muslim world and Arab world despises us? Do we think that's really going to make us safer? I don't know a lot of thoughtful thinkers, liberal or conservative, who think that that was the right approach.
Well, look, let's keep it real. He's calling Cheney dumb there because he said, I don't know a lot of thoughtful thinkers who believe that's the right approach. That being said, why are we surprised that Barack Obama disagrees with Dick Cheney? Of course he disagrees with him. He ran a whole campaign against the whole Cheney-Bush way of doing things. By the way, we now find out that soon there are going to be new memos released by this Obama White House, by the Justice Department. Eric Holder has made that decision, that show new ugly torture that we did not even know about before. You know, you've got the near starvation and you've got the severe conditions, some of which we knew about, some of which we didn't. But now new details as well, where they would wrap detainees in plastic. They'd hang them sometimes by their wrists from the ceiling, and then they would slam them face first against the wall. Okay, that is one of many ugly new torture tactics that we're going to find out about. So is Obama pissed now that he's found out how bad the torture actually was? Well, if he isn't, he should be, but it looks like he is. So God bless him for it. I think he should say worse about Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney totally took us in the wrong direction in 8 different ways, and he made us less safe. Look, there was a story about the witches in Gambia. last week. The president of Gambia believes in witches and thinks a witch did his aunt, I believe it was his aunt, something bad. This is madness, right? So he rounded up nearly 1,000 witches in Gambia by using witch doctors and literally went on a witch hunt. And then they tortured these witches. They dunked them in dirty water, whereas we dunked them in clean water, right? This dirty water is a potion that they use, they think is magic of some sort. Anyway, and then they tortured them. And lo and behold, what did those people admit to? What did they confess to? They confessed to being witches. Now, do you really think they're witches? No. It's so obvious that somebody will confess to anything to get you to stop torturing them. Yet Dick Cheney is so fundamentally stupid that he can't get that thought through his head. Unless he really believes those people in Gambia, hey, we got them. They're witches. And I'm glad we found out that they're worth. Oh my God, turns out there's nearly 1,000 witches in Gambia. No, Dick Cheney's a moron, okay? He's not only evil, but he's stupid, and that's more important. I mean, maybe he gets his rocks off doing this kind of torture and devising way, like, oh, wrap the guy in saran wrap, and then hang him from the ceiling, and then smash him into the wall. I mean, maybe he gets some sort of sadistic joy out of that. But for him to believe that any intelligence that comes out of that is actionable intelligence that we should spend our time going after, well, that's where it begins to harm us, not just the people that we did the torture against. Not just because it gives us a bad name, but because it gives us bad results. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was laughing at us. He said, yeah, they were torturing me, so I made up a whole bunch of stuff. I said this and I said that, and anything to get them to stop. So we were chasing all those bad leads. And by the way, one of the bad leads was from a guy we tortured by the name of Al-Libi. Technically, we sent him over to Egypt to get tortured. They buried him alive. Okay? And then just when he thought he was going to die, they pulled him up, and he said, okay, what do you need to hear? What do you want to hear? Oh, that Iraq and Al-Qaeda are connected? Yeah, sure. The CIA literally said about Al-Libi, he had trouble coming up with what to invent. They later realized, of course, it was all inventions. So then Cheney, that's what he wanted. He didn't want good intelligence. He wanted bad intelligence. And he got it. He was like, all right, great. You tortured him until he said what we wanted, that Iraq and Al-Qaeda are connected. Now let's attack Iraq. And he did. And it didn't have anything to do with keeping us safer at all. Dick Cheney has made us significantly, put us in harm's way and made this country significantly less safe. He's a terrible, terrible, not just person, not just government official, but he's going to go down as one of the worst Americans to ever be in government. So I think Obama went too far on 60 Minutes? He didn't go nearly far enough.